All right, now this is a short, hopefully 10-minute video on what is culture. Now I sent you a PowerPoint or a handout. You can read it however. I've had a little problem running it, so I don't know if it needs to be updated in terms of its format. But what is culture? And it's my little PowerPoint says cultural awareness. Okay, not sensitivity, but what is it? And what is culture? What is U.S. culture? What are cultural values? Intercultural sensitivity I just talked about. How does culture impact education? Some of this I'll get to a little later. But first of all, I want to talk about what is culture. It has three aspects. It's what we know and believe. It's what people do. I'm doing something now. I'm talking on about a PowerPoint on an online class video. What people make and use. So I'm going to show you some objects. I want to make this more interesting. One of the objects is this. Does anybody know what that is? Okay. Do you know what that is? You light it. Okay. Don't be funny. You know what this is? What about this? Any good guesses? Well, this is hardtack. This is not from the Civil War, but this is a giant hard as a rock cracker that people used to eat. And they made these, and it looks like a giant cracker. And they were so hard that you'd actually beat them with a rock to get a piece off, and you would eat little crumbles of it. It wouldn't spoil. I'm sure it's not very tasty. I haven't really tried it since so many people handled it. This little item is a smudge stick. You ever watch those ghost shows? You light this thing on the end, and it's supposed to help drive away bad spirits. That deals with a belief people have. You know what this is. And this is supposedly a copy of the statue in the Berlin Museum that came from Egypt. It's supposed to be Nefertiti, one of the most famous statues in the world. And I've got a copy. I bought at a cheap store. And other artifacts, books that talk about culture and concepts. One of these I love is called Throw Your Tooth on the Roof. It's a tradition about teeth all over the world. What do people believe about teeth? You know? And this is a book I'll talk about more in multicultural. But in Brazil, you throw your tooth outside and the birds take it away. In Venezuela, you put it under your pillow and a mouse will come and bring some money. In Lebanon, you throw your tooth into the sea and say, oh son, take the mouse's tooth and give me a gold tooth. I guess, unlike boxers, the kids there want gold teeth. And different places, Germany, you don't do anything with a tooth. You just get rid of it. Very practical Germans. The Swedes put their tooth in a glass of water, and in the morning it'll be gone, and there'll be a coin in the glass. Okay? In England, they put it under a pillow. But this is all over the world. It's a great little book. And it's called Throw Your Tooth on the Roof by Selby B. Beeler, B-E-E-L-E-R. There's another little book, The Desert is My Mother. It's a very simple little book. It's bilingual. It's from Pinata Books. Del Arte Press at the University of Houston has great bilingual books, particularly Spanish. Okay, so we know it's what we believe, what we do, and what we make and use. It could be an arrowhead, it could be an idea, it could be something created. It is not something innate. We don't grow up and have culture. It has to be given to us. It's from outside. It's often thought to be universal. Well, all human beings, or most all, barring zombies or bizarre situations, have culture. But culture is neither high nor low. It just is. It's not opera, although that is culture for some people. Anything that human beings touch, make, or think is culture. Now, one important concept in culture is this: subjective versus objective. I talk about in here. Subjective is what people think. It's a lot of times subjective. You don't know what the rules are in a society. You find out later. For instance, you shake hands in some cultures. That's Now that's objective culture, but what the shaking of the hands means to the individuals, that's subjective culture. Okay. Another example, subjective is the unconscious or the deep value systems held. Objective culture are the outward things, the art, the physical things you can see. Okay. Baseball's played in Japan and the United States, but people don't know for sure what the rules are. They do. There's some differences in baseball depending on where you play. That is same basic rules, but the culture may change it. In here, it talks about different types of culture. You can label anything culture. Eskimo culture, Aleut culture, the tribes up there, Asian American culture, Vietnamese culture, the culture of Silicon Valley, the culture of middle schoolers. What are the rules of the middle schoolers? So it's not like a nation or a flag has to go with it. One of the most obvious ones, and I have a lot of samples here, are flags. I've got a bunch of them here. I don't know if I can identify them all right out of here, but here's the flag of Mexico, and these are called objective culture. But the meaning of the eagle holding the serpent and stuff on there, that deals with more of the concept and the history. This is, I believe this is Guatemala's flag. Okay. Could be El Salvador. I think it's Guatemala. I'm trying to remember. 1821. And I have lots of flags. I love flags. Anything colorful is good to introduce people to culture, but it's not the end of it. Now, I've got a couple of things on this PowerPoint. Do you agree? There are logical explanations for everything we observe. There are no mysteries if we look hard enough. You can get in religion in that, ghost hunting, I don't know, theoretical physics. Lending money to even the best of friends is almost always a bad idea. That's true in some cultures, and you might agree with it. In other cultures, it's an obligation. If someone's your friend, you help them. To fail to do so is a sign of dishonor and ruins the whole concept of friendship. Often poverty, I'm going to skip around. Poverty is a result of being shiftless and lazy. What do you think? Some people think that. Learning English is not difficult if you just focus, if you pay attention. We know that may not be true. Objective, subjective. Now, I put a lot of terms on here. Everything from B.B. King, the blues guitarist who just recently passed away. The Vietnam War, is it have an objective and a subjective? Obviously, Vietnam War for me, because I lived at the time of the Vietnam War, has deep meaning to me. I wasn't in Vietnam, I wasn't old enough. But I know people who died in Vietnam. I know people that were injured or wounded in Vietnam. I know all the stress and the protests about the Vietnam War. So when you say Vietnam War, it's not just like saying the Crimean War of 1853 or something in Europe. I have a connection to it. The Tea Party, Abraham Lincoln. Some people say, oh my gosh, Abraham Lincoln, we love him. He's almost become the martyr of the American Republic. But some people don't like him. And historically, a lot of people didn't like Abraham Lincoln. A baseball glove. I love baseball. So to me, a baseball glove has a lot more meaning or connotation than just a baseball glove. What is a siesta? Some people say, well, that's when nobody works and they just goof off and they sleep. They don't know the culture. Where did siesta come from? Try opening all afternoon without air conditioning in a very hot country. Semper Fi, I think I said that, or Phi. What does that mean for Marines? If you're a Marine, it means a lot more than it means to someone who just looks at the words. So all these things that I brought up here, I just want to emphasize there's subjective and objective culture. There's the meaning and the values attached to it, and then there's just, I put the word Arrowhead. Well, with a capital, it means the stadium in Kansas City. If you're a big Kansas City Chiefs fan, you love Arrowhead. Soccer, what does it mean to you? If you're not into soccer, it doesn't mean much. But if you talk about soccer and champions and Manchester United or the Barcelona team, Madrid team, world championship, it means everything. So everything has a part to it. If it's something humans have touched, it's culture. Okay. Even a rock that they find that someone 200,000 years ago actually held and used, if they can verify it, becomes an artifact. That's what we call objects. Everything in my office is an artifact. My glasses, everything but my mustache. Maybe, I don't know. But anyhow, I just wanted to introduce you to this, okay?